Sometimes the deepest pain does not come from the person who left, but from the realization that you lost yourself for someone who was never truly yours. When your relationship is with an avoidant person, love feels confusing. One day they are close to you, they care about your words, they find comfort in your presence, and it feels like you have finally found someone who understands you. But then suddenly, everything changes. The same person slowly starts becoming distant. The replies become shorter, the meetings become fewer, the warmth turns cold, and you stay awake at night asking yourself only one question: what did I do wrong? This is where most people break. They start trying to prove their love, they try harder, they write long messages, they try to explain that their intention was only love, not pain. They believe that if the other person could just truly understand one more time, maybe everything would be fixed. But an avoidant heart does not work like that. The more you chase, the more they pull away. The more you ask for answers, the quieter they become. And slowly you begin to feel like you are not loving a person but a closed door. The truth is, avoidant people are not afraid of love. They are afraid of the depth that love requires. They like closeness, but only until it starts making them feel vulnerable. The moment the relationship becomes deeper, the moment emotions begin asking for responsibility, the moment they have to look inside themselves, they start stepping back. It is not always your fault. But when someone leaves, the heart does not listen to logic. The heart only feels the emptiness. And then a dangerous question is born. How do I make them realize what they lost? How do I make them regret it? How do I bring them back to me? But maybe that is not the right question. Maybe the right question is, how do I find myself again? Because the most powerful way to make an avoidant ex regret losing you is not by convincing them, not by showing them fear of losing you, but by choosing yourself again, by becoming strong quietly, by moving forward without noise, by remembering your worth without revenge in your heart. The first way is to stop explaining yourself again and again. After heartbreak, this becomes the biggest mistake. People think, if I just say it one more time with the right words, maybe they will finally understand. Maybe this time they will feel my pain. Maybe this time they will come back. And then begins the endless cycle of explaining. Long messages, late-night calls, incomplete conversations, hope inside every word, disappointment inside every reply. But the truth is, someone who is emotionally avoiding does not suffer from lack of information. They already know you are hurt. They already know you are breaking. The problem is not that they did not hear you. The problem is that they are avoiding feeling it. When you keep explaining, you are only creating more emotional pressure for them. And pressure pushes an avoidant person to run even further. They do not solve your pain, they escape from it. But the day you become silent, something changes. Suddenly the noise they were used to disappears. No more long messages, no more complaints, no more emotional chasing, only silence. And that silence speaks the loudest, because now for the first time they are not hearing your voice, they are hearing their own thoughts. Now they are not facing your emotions, they are facing their own empty space, and many times regret is born exactly where you finally stop explaining. The second way is to become emotionally independent. Avoidant people often get used to the idea that you will always be there. No matter how distant they become, no matter how much confusion they create, no matter how little love and how much distance they give, they believe you will wait. You will come back. You will not leave them. But when you truly begin taking your emotional energy back, everything changes. This does not mean playing games. It does not mean fake indifference. It means bringing your heart back to yourself. You stop holding your breath for every notification. You stop reading meaning into every online status. You stop starting your mornings waiting for their reply and start living your own life again. Slowly, you remind yourself that your existence does not depend on someone else's availability. And that change affects them the most, because for the first time they feel that maybe you are really moving on. Maybe you are no longer just waiting for them. Maybe your world is continuing without them. That realization is quiet but deep, because avoidant people often pay attention only when control starts slipping from their hands. The third way is to improve your life quietly. Many people try to look happy after a breakup. They post pictures. They show fake smiles. They want to prove, look, I am doing great without you, but performance can always be felt. And what comes from performance never creates deep impact. Real change does not happen on social media. It happens in waking up early. It happens in taking care of your body. It happens in reconnecting with friends. It happens in picking up old dreams again. It happens in asking yourself, who was I before I became someone who only waited for love? When you truly start becoming better, there is no noise in it. There is stability. You become calmer, stronger, and most importantly, you become yours again. Whether your ex sees it or not does not matter. But often they do notice. They feel that you are no longer the same person. You are no longer frozen in the pain where they left you. You have grown. And for a person, there are few regrets deeper than realizing that the one they took for granted has finally remembered their own value. The fourth way is to stop giving them easy emotional access. Many avoidant people do not want to leave completely. They want distance and your presence at the same time. They may suddenly text you sometimes, they may ask how you are, they may send an old memory, they may give you a half signal, and you start thinking maybe now everything will be okay, but many times this is not return. It is only a test to see if you are still there, if you are still emotionally available, if whenever they need comfort they can still knock on the door of your heart, if every time you run back instantly they never feel your absence. Because you never really left, but when you create boundaries, everything changes. You stop replying instantly. You stop reading small signs like big promises. You stop giving your whole heart to half effort. And for the first time, they feel that your presence is no longer guaranteed, that your peace is no longer their convenience, that your heart is no longer available without respect. This is where respect begins. The fifth way is to choose calm instead of reaction. When the heart breaks, there is so much noise inside: anger, sadness, humiliation, questions, and every emotion wants to scream. You want to say, look what you did to me. You broke me. You changed me. But avoidant people run even further from emotional explosions. The more the relationship feels like a battlefield, the more they escape from it. They do not see love, they only feel pressure. That is why your greatest power is often your calmness. When you stay calm, it does not mean you do not hurt. It means you did not allow your pain to become bigger than your dignity. You stop trying to win every argument. You stop running to fix every misunderstanding. You stop answering cold behavior with more coldness. You simply stay steady. And that steadiness is powerful because it shows that your balance no longer depends on someone else's behavior. You were hurt, but you did not lose yourself. Avoidant people often understand too late the person who does not make noise but quietly knows their worth. The sixth way is to build a life so full that emptiness is no longer your identity. After a breakup, the most dangerous thing is allowing your entire identity to become the person who was left behind. Every day becomes the same story repeated again and again. But life is bigger than that, it always was. You return to the things that make you feel alive. Your work, your creativity, your family, your prayers, your travels, your laughter. The version of you that was not only someone's partner, but a whole person on your own. Slowly your heart stops being only a home for pain. Light begins entering again. And this is often the moment when avoidant people look back, because now they are not only seeing your absence, they are seeing the possibility that your life may actually become beautiful without them. And that realization is not easy for them. Because for the first time they understand that maybe they did not only lose a relationship, maybe they lost someone real. The seventh and hardest way is to let time and silence do the work. The heart wants immediate answers. It wants immediate closure, immediate apology, immediate proof that the love was real. But emotional truths do not reveal themselves quickly, especially inside avoidant people. They often do not feel pain immediately, they delay it. They hide inside work, inside busyness, inside distractions, inside routine, inside numbness. At first, they feel relief like a weight has been removed. But time is strange. It quietly brings back the things we tried to bury one day. Suddenly a place reminds them. A song, a habit, an evening, a silence. And then they do not only remember the problems, they remember your presence, your stability, your care, your patience, the love they never fully understood. And because now you are no longer there trying to explain your value, they are forced to understand it on their own. That is the irony. The less you try to make them realize, the more likely they are to realize it themselves. But here is the most important truth of all. None of this should be used to manipulate someone. If you are changing only because you hope they will come back, then you are still placing your life in their hands. Real healing begins when your goal is not their regret, but your return to yourself. Because the greatest loss was never them leaving. The greatest loss was when you abandoned yourself just so someone else might choose you. You gave up your peace, your self-respect, your boundaries. You made your truth smaller so someone else could feel comfortable. In the name of love, you created distance from yourself. And now maybe for the first time, you understand that love was never supposed to mean losing yourself. Sometimes your avoidant ex will come back. Sometimes they will not. Sometimes they will regret it, sometimes they will not, but the real victory is not there. The real victory is the day you wake up and for the first time their name no longer feels heavy in your chest. When you smile without thinking, I wish they could see this. When you look at yourself in the mirror and feel, I am back. Because in the end, the most beautiful revenge is not making someone suffer. The most beautiful revenge is healing so deeply that their choice no longer defines your identity. And maybe then you will understand that you never needed to make them regret losing you. Because the day you chose yourself again was the day you got back everything that was truly yours.